Peace. This is King Noble Black Supremacy. In this particular video, I want to talk about some of you all claim that you want to be free, you want to be liberated, you want a revolution or a radical shift in this paradigm, you want world change. And you say that, you need guns or armed revolution in order to make this change. But the people who say that are afraid to fight right now. And some of you say that it's going to take money, that we need economic power in order to create change. But most of you all are giving your money to the beast that you claim you want to change. It's getting ate up on taxes and amenities and overheads, luxuries. And so while you claim you're on the economic quest or path for freedom through working or running your own business or etc., your resources are going to sustaining the world that you say you want to change. And very little of that is going to people who reflect or represent a new or different world. You're not giving any money to that. You're giving money to the system that you claim you hate so much. Working for it and being a part of it under the auspices of gaining economic power to change it. So the people who want to get the guns they're not going to shoot right now. They're going to the gun range and piling up weapons. But no one's going to get shot. And the people who want economic power are going to give more money to the white people, to white institutions, including white people, than they give to any type of black organization, black leader, or black anything. It's going to go to the government. Even if you live in a black town and black community, most of your finance goes to that government, goes to that institution or that system that is in place. They get the most money out of it at the end of the day. But even while you say we need an armed revolution with guns and that we need to organize and train and get prepared to fight physically, and you say we need economic power, but all your money is going to the devil. And even there's another group that says, we have to get spiritual and it's all about spirituality. But with all their spirituality and magic and metaphysical ideas or holy water or prayed up in the name of Jesus, they are a scared little bitch on the inside of the white man and his world, of the government, of the systems and powers that be. They're so afraid. Well, after all their spirituality, they're just as scared and afraid of anyone else. And they're more afraid of the devil than they believe in God. So their spirituality and all of this is no avail. But on top of that, after all that, they, even on top of that, still want the same world that they claim they want to destroy. What they want looks like the world they want to destroy. Because if they see something different, they have a problem with it. The world they want looks exactly like the world they want to destroy. Their relationship looks like the relationship that was in the world they want to destroy. The type of car they drive, the type of house they drive, everything that's going to be in this new world looks exactly like the world they want to destroy. And they don't realize the world they want to destroy is maintaining everything that they will have in the world that they want to create that looks like the world they want to destroy. But they want the same type of relationship, same type of school, same type of, they might just want a black spin on it. Just a little unique twist, but it's just still the same thing. Because they can't even conceptualize something that is radically different. So how can you have a revolution which is 360-degree change? Or maybe 720? Or maybe half of 360 so it doesn't revolve all the way back to exactly the point that it started. But to have any type of a revolution you have to have a conception of something, of a radical shift of where it's going, somewhere that's totally different from where it's at. You have to conceptualize it. If not, what are you fighting for? You're fighting to maintain the same thing, the same beliefs, the same ideas, the same structure. Your fight is fightless. And that's why you don't win, because the fight is not even clear. It's not even defined. The people you're fighting against is trying to help you keep the matrix going. And your idea of change is a different way of just keeping the matrix going. Everything you want, a lot of times, if people just went ahead and bowed down to the matrix, they could have those same things effortlessly. But by them pretending to posture themselves to be revolutionaries and against the system and hopping on that trend of black consciousness, a lot of things that they want, they make it hard for themselves. When they can achieve the things that they want by just submitting to the matrix, because they don't really want anything different. Because they have a problem with difference just as much as people in the matrix do. That some of these people that claim to be conscious are more conservative, have more conservative values than people that are actually in the matrix. Like the matrix will actually cut you some slack versus some of these so-called conscious conservatives. They want a better matrix. They don't want to revolutionize or destroy the matrix. They want the fulfillment of the matrix. They mad because the matrix is not doing what it's supposed to do. It's not putting its foot in niggas' neck fast enough. That's why they're mad. See, we're mad because we want something totally different. We want to create a new world. We want to create a new reality. We want something that is just totally opposite of what we see right now. We want to invert that shit and then distort it. And play with the distortion to find what we like best. But all of them people that claim that they are against the matrix, they're just mad because it ain't did what it said it's supposed to do. It ain't matrix enough for them. And they think that that's revolutionary. Some of your religious groups, they didn't leave the church because they had a problem with Jesus and white supremacy and the slave man giving the Bible. They left the church because it wasn't Jesus enough. They left the church because it wasn't religious enough. That's why they was a Christian today and then a Hebrew Israelite tomorrow, because it wasn't religious enough. The church is freer than some of these so-called black religious groups and organizations. Go to church when you want to. These black religious groups, if you miss a meeting, it's nigga 7'5" ready to beat the fuck out you because you showed up late to the meeting. So they didn't leave the church because they wanted to be free, or they could even conceptualize freedom. They left it because they wanted a more extreme church. They wanted a more extreme prison. They wanted a better prison. They intentionally wanted to seek out Supermax. If you look at some of these institutions, some of these groups, their idea of change is more oppressive than what's in front of us. Their idea of social change is more grueling and gruesome than what we have here today. So before you pick up your gun and before you stack up your money and before you pray yourself to death, what do you want that's so different than what's going on today that you can't just get here? What do you want? What is the matrix stopping you from doing? Hell, the matrix even rewards its criminals so that they won't create new ideologies. It makes their criminals happy. It pacifies its criminals. Because where you see criminals today, in a different society, those criminals will be rewriting the narrative. They will be lobbyists. They will be going for social change. They will be trying to decriminalize many of the things that they are incarcerated for. But they're not in the act of decriminalization. They believe in the system. They still trying to make it appear as though they did right by the system. You know, I'm innocent. They're not trying to change the narrative. They're not trying to fight to remove the oppression. They want to prove that, I accepted the oppression and, I didn't go against what my oppressors told me I should and shouldn't do. And I'm going to die proving my case. That I lived up to this made up bullshit that the white man has constructed. I'm going to die proving that. Why? Because they made prison so comfortable in America for people. It's a hotel. So that they won't go against the system or try to change the ideology or the consciousness. Because just because people's bodies have been incarcerated doesn't mean their consciousness can't change the world. But they're not trying to change the world consciously. They're trying to change the world's consciousness about them as to whether they were innocent or guilty. That's deep. So you live in a country that makes its criminals feel comfortable enough not to become revolutionaries. Not to challenge the system or challenge the ideas or challenge the laws, challenge the legislations or challenge the perspectives. That's by design. So I ask all these people that are so conscious and want revolution, do you really want something different? And what is it that you want so different? Because when I listen to all their aspirations of what they want and what their ideal society is, it sounds like what's already out there. It sounds like something that everyone would say, oh, that sounds like a good idea. With a lot of these people, they're just at the wrong place at the wrong time with it. They just haven't found their part of the system that is more lenient to who and how they are. That's most of them. That their problem is not with the system, it's just with where they're at. They're not against being under white supremacy. They're not against being under the system. They're just having some petty issues with whatever the legal institutions or how the country, states, jurisdictions, or counties where they are around. That's more their problem. But what they want is achievable in this country in most cases with very little resistance, to the point where the government will even help you do it. So why posture yourself to be a revolutionary? You don't really want revolution. Some of these people claiming that they want revolution and social change and all that, they're the first people to call the police, to call the fucking government. They're the main people dependent on the government and the police to do their job of oppressing people and keeping this paradigm and keeping this shit going. They're the main people. Because if you really want social change and you really want to see this shit change, you would stop using it in a way that edifies it, in a way that perpetuates it. You wouldn't even give energy to it. But most people, if they soul search, they will find, they were going along with it. And then when you talk about fighting a system, you're talking about fighting everybody fucking out there. You think you're talking about fighting some people behind a desk that's really just doing their job. And their job is only to maintain the consensus reality of every sleep fucking body else. So once you start really fighting against the system and fighting against the construct, you literally will end up fighting every fucking body. Even the ones that think they want something different. But if they really look and analyze themselves, they really even don't. And the more they see something else different, the more clear they become on how they definitely don't want something different. And how they even miss the old shit. And how they love it the way it is. You take them to another country and they see, hey, a little more freedom looks like this. They say, hey, take me back to America, man. Fuck this. I love the Matrix. I love the way it was. I love the way it's been set up. If you expose them to something different, they run back to the Matrix as quickly as they possibly can. So that's most people that It's all entertainment, the entertainment of ideas and idealisms, and they're not serious. They can't really stomach something different. They're fooling themselves. It's like people that say they want to be vegan. They want to be vegetarians. But everything they eat look like some damn meat. It's a vegetable meat patty. A vegetable hot dog. Everything look like some meat. And then they've even went further, where you have raw foodists with raw vegetable dishes that imitate, cook meat meals. They didn't want a different diet. They didn't want something different. So a lot of the so-called conscious people, they don't want revolution. They don't want something that is different. They just want, they want a patty, just a veggie patty. Keep it patty though. They say they don't want a hot dog, but they want a veggie hot dog. Still keep it hot dog. They don't want something that is radically different. They want what a hot dog is supposed to be. Pure protein. And a better source of that protein is vegetables. So your people, they want a better form of white supremacy. They want what white supremacy is supposed to be. They're fighting for white supremacy to be fulfilled under the auspices of causing a revolution. Because everything they talking about is what this is how it's supposed to be. And that ain't supposed to be that. And that ain't how it's supposed to be. Says who, fucking what, when. That it ain't supposed to be like that. That ain't how it's supposed to go. You ain't supposed to do that. That's revolution. Is that revolutionary? No. They're diehard white supremacist fundamentalists, revisionists in black bodies. They don't want nothing different. They can't stomach nothing different. If they were honest with themselves. So I say all this to say that when you're trying to see who really wants revolution, there's a lot of actors out there. And they don't do anything. They got guns and all this and got money and got economic power and got all that. But they don't invest it in nothing and they don't do anything. Because honestly, they don't want anything different. If they actually fought on the side of black supremacists, they would really end up destroying everything that they're doing, they got, and that they want, and that they desire. It would be self-destructive. Because they don't want to give up that paradigm. They might feel bad about some things that are going on in the world today. They might feel bad about injustice, but not enough to give up their paradigm. So when they go out and buy that gun, and they make it home with that gun, see, they was upset when they went to the gun shop. But by the time they make it home and sat on their couch, their nice soft couch, and picked up their remote control, they realized that, wait a minute, this ain't really so bad. I ain't about to give this up now. And that gun stays in the gun box. And it becomes sport. And they just go to the gun range and practice and play. And they come back home and sit on that nice soft couch with that remote control and turn the idiot box back on and experience their true heaven. Because the people that you claim to be against are the ones that maintain your heaven right now. They maintain everything you like and everything you love. If you don't love something different and ain't trying to give up what you like and love right now, then you're not going to change nothing. You're not going to be on the side of change. You're satisfied. And the only thing you're mad about is your plate ain't coming fast enough. The only thing you're mad about is that there's not more hyper white supremacy. Some of y'all y'all don't even want black revolution. Y'all want hyper white supremacy in a black face. That would be our idea of a black nation. hyper fucking white supremacy. Because and you see people, they talk about black nationalism, they more white than the fucking white man. The Hebrew Israelites more Jew than a fucking Jew. You look at some of these groups, they got on suits and ties, and they're more the system than the damn system. But they talk about change and revolution and the end of this world and the Armageddon of this world. The only way you can end this world is to end it in your aspirations right now. End it in your belief of it, your support of it, your perpetuation of it. And you end it by being able to accept and step into a completely paradigm, a completely new paradigm. Without judgment. Without attachment to the old, without missing the old, without wanting the old. That's the end of it. It ends in you. But it can't end in you if you don't realize that it begins in you. And you have to give it up. And you really, truly, sincerely have to want something different. And you must be able to find the beauty in something different and find the goodness in something different. And until you actually find the goodness and have passion in something different, you're not going to be driven to cause it or bring it about. You'll go get your gun when you see something on the news. You'll get hyped up. You'll hold a sign. You'll complain. You'll talk shit. But you'll never bite the hand that is feeding you. What you love to eat. Unless you get a taste for something else. Black supremacy is a taste for something completely else. And not only do we have a taste for it, our eyes are not bigger than our stomach. That once we actually get to taste it, we can actually stomach it as well. Because some of your eyes is bigger than your stomach. You say, I want something else. I want to feed on a different reality. I want to eat of a different world. I want to eat of a different garden. But when you see the type of fruits there that you ain't never seen before, you see the type of cuisine that you didn't even know was edible, then you run back to your slave master's table and say, Master, just give me some of those collard greens and good old greens that you used to serve me. You have too much sentimental value in the white man's world. You can't let it go. Some of you are just living your hyper childhoods. You're just trying to relive your childhood. You're trying to relive your childhood fantasies. You're trying to maintain the world that you once knew of when you was a child. And if you see anything outside of that, you're disheartened, you're saddened that things are just not going the way it's supposed to be, that Santa Claus just didn't come this year. That the Easter Bunny was on a rotisserie. That the Tooth Fairy didn't even come to get that tooth. When you see the world not living up to all the lies and the fake, safe, secure, shelter paradigm that you grew up in as a child through television, parental guidance, and education, when you see that the world's not fitting up to that, it does something to you. Something in you would have to die at that moment. Because that's what you believe, that all is real, that all is true, and all is right, to the point that you cannot even accept anything outside of that. You cannot embrace anything outside of that. So you don't want a revolution. You don't want change. You just want to complain and be mad. Because the day you want something different will be the day you can stomach something different. And the day that you don't want the old anymore. That you're so sick and dissatisfied and disgusted with the old, that damn near anything new would be refreshing for you. This is King Noble Black Supremacy. Join my website, www.kingnobleuncensored.com. Donate and don't hate.